energy tokens. This is something I've spoken about in the past, and I'm going to continue to do so because I just think this is an area where people really need to realize the potential for investment here. I'm going to get into that in a second. Before I do, as always, the spreadsheet. These are the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel that I thought would absolutely smash it in this cycle. If you invested $100 into each one of these before I release the videos, you're still holding that crypto. You'd be in profit for over $61,000. It's not what I hold anymore. You want to see what I hold? Come check out Copy My Crypto. One thing I keep banging on about that I really can't wait for is a bear cycle. Bear cycles are the chance to build your positions in hugely undervalued cryptos. It gives you the chance to change your life. The bull cycle is great, and your the holdings will appreciate in value, and it's wonderful to see. But you don't make the life-changing gains that you do when the bear cycle kicks in, and you can find those cryptos that are 100th of the price they should be. I've got a list of coins that I'm really excited about that I think that have huge potential. So watching what they do, whether it's how much they retrace, which is definitely a big factor, developers, the onboard partnerships that they develop, along with how easy and how successful they're being in completing their roadmap, are the factors that I'm going to be watching in particular during the bear cycle. If I think a coin can 50, 100, 200x, I'm going to be sharing them with Copy My Crypto members. So if you want to be a part of that and find out what they are, click the link in the description and check it out. Right. I read an article in The Economist this weekend, and it was about renewable energy. And it sort of reminded me again of this, that I've been so that I am long-term so bullish on in terms of investments. And that's whether you want to go into crypto or, to be fair, stocks. Now, the G20 had a climate summit, and they met and they discussed their goal for combating climate change, right? Now, however you feel about all of this is what they said, and you've got to look at what they're going to do in response to it. Now, their collective commitment is to hold the global average temperature increase well below 2 degrees, and to pursue efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. They talk about how they're going to do it, and they call on development finance institutions, in particular multilateral development banks, to follow up with their commitments in line with their mandates, including those taken at the Finance in Common Summit. Something we keep hearing about with Bitcoin is it's, bad for the environment, right? A lot of it's actually done with renewable energy, and it's a fraction of the net energy expenditure of banks. Now, and they have to get in line. That's part and parcel of the commitments that have been mandated to them. On top of that, there's they're reaffirming commitment made by developed countries to the goal of mobilizing jointly $100 billion per year by 2020 and annually through to 2025 to address the needs of developing countries. So that's just for developing countries. In order to reduce emissions and improve climate resilient development. Now, all these things are important because fundamentally what you've got to realize is all of these developed countries are well behind their targets. The only way they are going to succeed in hitting those targets is to invest. They're going to have to invest massively into clean energy, renewable energy. They're going to have to, governments themselves are going to have to do that. You're going to have to look at institutions, your banking system are going to have to start looking at that, whether it's, a ton of solar panels or whatever it is, right? They've got to start addressing that because they are subject to fines if they can't meet the mandates that have been given to them. Although I'm sure the fines will be a slap on the wrist, but even so. So they identified that they need to fully use the potential of existing clean energy solutions, as well as to accelerate the development and deployment of zero and low emission tech and cutting edge innovations in guiding the energy transitions to advance prosperity and social, economic, and environmental sustainability at a local and global level. Now, this is something, again, I've addressed when I've been talking about fundamentally those blockchains that are energy neutral are more likely to play a role with governments down the line because they're hitting a target point that the governments themselves around the world, the G20 governments have. So a blockchain that can potentially be the foundation layer for a CBDC would have far greater opportunity to become that if it is carbon neutral. Now, the reality is, with regards to all of this, and they've made a lot of commitments, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to live up to them, but they're going to have to make progress. It doesn't mean they'll meet the targets that they've set, but they will have to invest to get close to them, and they will be doing so. We've seen a crap hole of a situation, certainly in the UK, with regards to energy. The energy bills for every household has gone up by about 54% in the UK. In France, they capped it at 4%. There are problems globally with regards to energy, the energy demands by these corporations. And realizing that this is going to be the inevitable focal point down the line of investment, renewable energy, green, clean energy, whatever it is, there is an opportunity there for these countries globally to actually meet their pathway for decarbonisation. Requires around about a total investment of up to $130 trillion. The socio-economic gains of such investment will be massive. Transforming the energy system could boost cumulative global GDP gains above business as usual by about $98 trillion between now and 2050. It would also nearly quadruple renewable energy jobs to around 42 million, expand employment in energy efficiency to 21 million, and add 15 million of system flexibility. These things matter. These things, and government's going to have to acknowledge that while many of them are bought and paid for by energy companies, and we've got to acknowledge that, down the line, they start being the ones that get off the backside to actually start transforming things, and it opens up an economy in a way that hasn't been for a while. And when you're talking about an investment of 130 trillion, or even, the numbers I think that's a bit inflated. The numbers I was reading was 20 trillion from the G20s. And if the G20, all the collaborative G20 countries are to hit targets, they would need to invest around $20 trillion. $20 trillion. I mean, people, when you actually see that number on paper, people realize how big a deal that is, right? And this is an area that has to grow. It has to grow. So being an early investor into this space is important. Now, whether you are focused on cryptos or stocks, it really doesn't matter. But this space is a long-term investment. There are targets for the next 3 years, but there are also targets for the next 28 years from most G20 countries. So even investing in one of the most, whether it's the most expensive by market cap blockchain project like Power Ledger, or whether it's investing in the most expensive by market cap stock, it's probably the safer bet because they're already established, but their room for their growth is staggering. And bear in mind, if these energy companies are working with governments, they're going to get more government contracts. If they've previously worked with governments, they will get the same government contracts. They'll get more government contracts as there is a need to meet these targets. And this is just an area where I like I said, whether it's stocks or whether it's crypto, whether it's Power Ledger and Energy Web, or even Grid, well, the Grid's trading volume is so bad I wouldn't be looking at Grid right now. But this is a space that has to grow. It has to grow because of demands that all these governments are making upon themselves, and because of the demands that are being pressed upon them by younger generations. We've all seen the signs. This will be our world, not yours. Da 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 da. This will be my grandkids' world, or whatever it is. And when you're looking at a $20 trillion investment across the space, even if it's over the next 28 years, that is a staggering amount of money. So the strongest projects in this space are the ones that people should be investing in. And obviously not financial advice, but long term, these are good, solid investments because they will appreciate over time. Whether it is, like I said, clean energy based investments, whether it is renewable energy based investments, whether it is tech, because there is a number of low emission technologies as well. That's the phrase I was looking for, low emission. But whether it's low emission technologies, clean energy solutions, whatever it is, that is a space everyone should be looking at right now, because over the next 28 years, it's going to explode because it has to. And like I said, Power Ledger has already got really strong partnerships. It's already really well established within Australia. It's one that you can see has the potential to grow. Energy Web Token, a lot younger as a project, but there's still so much room for that as well. Those two, along with just checking out your stocks, checking out your low emission tech, because it is going to explode. And it's definitely a space you got to keep an eye on, guys. It's just that simple. It is one that I'm constantly reading about. Like I said, $20 trillion. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you're all keeping well. If you're new to crypto, or you've been in crypto a while and you're not happy with your gains, come check out Copy My Crypto. We had an awesome 2021. And 2022 will be better. It just will. Whether it's blockchain, whether it's bull cycle or bear cycle. Bear cycle is what I want. Bear cycle is where the money's made. Bull cycle is just nice. It's nice to watch your money go up. It's nice to see the gains. But bear cycle is where you make your investments that make the 50x's, the 100x's, the 200x's. And regardless of which cycle it is, it's going to be an incredible year. And if you want to be a part of that, click the link in the description and check it out, guys. Anyway, take it easy. Bye-bye.